Hi guys, hope you are doing well. Welcome to the second episode of Fit Talks with me. The topic that we are going to discuss today is know your food. Food is by far the most important aspect of us. I mean, it is literally why we live. So food is really important. But it's not just about eating food. I mean, there's several aspects of food which we need to understand, and that is what today's podcast is going to be about. So let's try to understand what exactly food is and how you can benefit from it, not simply by just eating lots of it, by eating the right way. So before we get into the various aspects of food, let's try to understand the impact of food on the body, on how our body is made. So the human body is made up of cells, billions and trillions of cells. Each cell is divided into three parts, which is your membrane, your nucleus, and your cytoplasm. I know it may sound too technical, but you need to go there to just give you a background about from where I'm coming from. So the membrane of each cell has three major components, which is protein, carbohydrates, and fats. So these three sources are what food gives you. So in short, food makes up what our entire body is consisted of. So I mean, you can just relate the importance of food to our body. So now let's try to understand why we need protein, carbs and fats, then move on to in what amounts we need, so that we have a clearer picture on what we can eat, how we can eat to be the best version of ourselves, right? So let's first, topic number one, carbohydrates. So carbohydrates is an extremely important component of our regimen, food regimen. Carbohydrates is used as by the body as the primary go-to source of energy. So whenever you have any activity to do, whether you have to think, whether you have to run, whether you have to do an exercise, go out, have fun, it's carbohydrates which is tapped by the body as the primary go-to fuel source. So when you eat carbohydrates, what happens is carbohydrates gets broken down into glucose. Each glucose gets broken down into ATP, which is called adenosine triphosphate. It's basically an energy molecule, and this energy molecule is what fuels the body. So the amount of energy that carbohydrates releases, some part of the energy goes into the activity that you are doing, some part of the energy is in your bloodstream, which maintains your blood sugar level. Some part of the energy goes into your muscles, which is stored in the muscle, and some part of energy goes into your liver. So as you can see, the importance of carbohydrates is not only to improve your body functions, to help you do an activity, but it plays a very important role in various aspects of your organs and maintaining the overall balance. Just to give you an idea about how much carbohydrates is important, your brain itself needs 130 grams of glucose to function. Your liver would need on an average 100 grams of glucose to function effectively. Your red RBCs, which are your red blood cells, need glucose to maintain the blood sugar in your blood. So carbohydrates is an extremely important source when it comes to regulating your entire body. So taking that from away from your body is not the wise thing to do, and definitely not the healthier aspect. So why do people think that they get fat because of carbs? So as I mentioned, that energy is released instantly when you eat carbs. So after the body finishes its vital functions and the storage that it needs to keep, the extra energy that is released in the process is stored beneath the tissue, which is called as adipose tissue, as glycogen, which in turn converts to fat. So from the body, it is like a storehouse of the extra energy which it may use once its energy resources are depleted. So the more extra energy it has, the more extra fat it adds on. So that's why you would see people complaining that I have face fat, I have fat under the stomach, I have fat under the bicep or tricep or legs or thighs. So each body is different. The places where the body stores the fat is different. The proportion of storage of fat is different. Some of them may have wider thighs or wider hips or a bigger stomach. I mean, it all depends on where your body stores fat. I mean, there is no like a standard solution to that. It will be stored under the face or hips or legs. So that is what increases the fat intake, fat amount in your body, and that's why people think the best way to avoid fat storage is stop carbs totally. If you stop carbs totally, your vital functions, your primary source of energy is stopped. So that is not the right and healthy way to do things. The right and proper way is eat carbs, but eat it effectively, eat it in a controlled amount. So since carbs are the primary source of energy, it is very important that you have sufficient amount of carbs so that your body doesn't use protein and fats for energy and let them do what their job is, which we'll come to on a later stage. So yeah, so just to give you an idea, if your body total energy requirement is around 1500 to 1800 calories, roughly as a standard, you can consume at least 50% of your energy requirements from carbs, and that's personally what I feel works really good for me. I mean, the amount can vary from 40% to 60% depending on where you are in terms of your body fat percentage, but on a ballpark figure, 40 to 60% of your energy requirement should definitely come from carbs. Moving on, the second most important component is protein, and this is, I think, most overlooked component, because a lot of the foods sources that are available to us are predominantly carbohydrates. So you have your rice, which is carbs, which is your pulses, which is more or less carbs, bread is carbs, your pasta is carbs. But then having the right amount of protein is extremely important. Now, what is protein? Protein is something that helps to repair your tissues, that helps you to build your muscle. The food that you digest, the enzymes which your body produces to digest the food are proteins. So very important when you get a injury or any damage to the body, the repair process that happens, the coagulation of the blood to stop the extra blood from coming out, everything, protein is responsible for it. So it is very important for everyone to consume a good amount of protein in your diet. Be it vegetarian or non-vegetarian, you need to have a certain portion of your food as proteins. The other important aspect of protein, which I think would be very important, especially for the ladies out there, is because when I say you need to control carbs, how would you control carbs? So you reduce the portion of carbs and add proteins to it. So protein actually helps you reduce hunger. It controls your hunger hormones, and not only it increases the bioavailability of nutrients in the food, but helps you eat less in the process as well. So you're eating a more balanced diet, but at the same time not really starving yourself. So very important aspect. Protein needs to be in your diet in almost each and every meal as much as you can. To give you a ballpark perspective of how much protein you need to eat, it should be around 0.6 gram to 0.8 to a maximum of 1 gram per lean body mass. Again, this is subjective to where you are in terms of your percentage body fat. Now let's come to fats. So fats, again, I mean, they say that you have fats, so don't eat fats. You need to reduce fat, you need to reduce carbs. But fats serve as a very important function, which more or less people don't understand, is your vitamins, which is your vitamin A, D, E and K. They are fat soluble vitamins. So if these vitamins have to reach your body and has to be regulated through your body, it has to go through fats. So you need to have healthy fats in your diet to regulate these vitamins in your body. Although you are consuming food which are energy dense and it has all the nutrients, but for those nutrients to be transported in the body, you need fats. You need fats to regulate your carbs, you need your fats to regulate your proteins, you need your fats to regulate your brain functions. Without having an essential good fats in your diet, none of protein and carbs would actually make sense. So protein, carbohydrates and fats work synergistically to create a perfect environment for your body to grow and perform at its most optimum levels. The percentage of the energy derived from each component, you can vary it, but if I had to give you a overall perspective of how much like a standard diet should look like, in a ratio of 50, 30 and 20, you need to get your macronutrients in your diet. But in addition to the macronutrients, you need to ensure that you get your micronutrients as well. So that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. The purpose of this podcast was to give you a basic understanding of foods and understanding your food properly, so that you can make healthier choices. You can make choices which will improve your well-being. So please like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys like the channel, and do keep me informed if anything else you want me to address or anything else that is in your mind that you feel is necessary for me to talk about. Bye bye.
Bye bye.